Hey, what's up, guys? Mark Uptergraph here. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the differences between active investing and passive investing. As you may know, I've been an active investor for about 15 years. Been there, done that, and there is a reason why I've shifted my mentality and I've gone over to the passive side. And if you're struggling like me as an active investor, some of these things might start to resonate with you. Just recently I had a tenant, I'm in New York State, and he used the legal system to draw out his unpaid tenancy for about 8 months. We would go into the court would ask if he was on ERAP. He'd say, oh, I never filled out the application. Okay, well, we're gonna adjourn, fill out the ERAP, blah, blah, blah. 8 months later, I finally, actually it was 9 months when you had the 2 weeks for the marshal and all the BS that I've been through. So pretty much 9 months of this non-paying tenant in one of my units. And the worst part about it was the unit was a beautiful unit in a beautiful location, and I don't know how this person made it past the screening process. I'm really kind of embarrassed to say that he did, because he completely trashed the unit. The unit is definitely the worst condition that I've seen in 10 years. And the one that I'm thinking about previously was where we purchased it as a foreclosure, and the woman was living in the house with multiple animals, and she was locked in the basement, and the whole basement floor was just covered with urine and feces that we had to clean out of there. So this house is pretty reminiscent, and I don't know exactly how much it's going to cost me to whip it back into shape, but I had previously spent $90,000 renovating it. So as you can imagine, it was in mint condition. So it's just very depressing when something like that happens. The guy doesn't care. I'm the rich landlord that doesn't matter that he didn't pay rent for a year, and he did God knows how much damage to my property. I can just suck it up and move on. And dealing with my staff and talk to them, they're just like, how are you so calm about all this? They're like, I would literally murder the person. And I'm like, at this point in my career, I've been around long enough that you can't let things like this hold you back. You can't let them get you down. You just roll with the punches. It was a bunch of bad debt, huge loss. You just try to refine what you're doing and improve what you're doing and move forward. That's all we can do. And so as an active investor, I think a lot of you are probably facing similar stories where you get into something and things go great for a while, and then you just get this one-off thing that happens, and you're like, oh my goodness, this just destroyed my investment for the last, I don't know how many years of smooth sailing that I had. It's just completely erased it and thrown me into the negative. So I recently got into passive investing because I could diversify my portfolio not only in asset classes but also in locations. I think that being an operator here in Rochester, New York, and given the confines of what you can purchase that can cash flow, a lot of times you're going to be working with a demographic that's pretty disrespectful. They're coming from single family homes where they didn't really get the proper upbringing, and they have absolutely no respect for anybody's property. And if you're operating in that kind of environment actively, it can be a real sleep-losing endeavor, right? I don't know how many nights I've just been so wound up in my own head that I've literally just not been able to sleep. And so with the passive investment side, it's not that way, right? We can get into a self-storage unit or something like that where it's completely different. There's no beds, there's no toilets. It's very easy. It's just numbers, so that's pretty much why I made the switch. And I will tell you that, if you do really good underwriting and you're willing to explore other areas, you can get as good, if not better, returns on the passive side as you can running around like crazy, being an active investor, and always hunting for that deal and trying to get really good returns that way. I was really surprised. I thought that, for sure, an active investor would be making way more money than a passive investor. But I got to tell you, if you play your cards right and you get good operators behind you, you're going to do just as well, if not better, on the passive investing side. So that's just a little note that I had for you today. I hope you guys are doing good. If you've got any comments or questions, or you want to hear me talk about any subjects, feel free to hit me up in the comments. All right, peace.